You don't give a damn about what I do.
Before we get started, let me drink a cup of beer. Hi, it's nice to see you again in my Labpano Pilot 1 video series. And on episode 1, I have shared with you my deep overview on every one of the menu of the user interface. And you can get a very good overview about this camera and its secret capabilities. Labpano Pilot 1 is very good at performing the 8K live right inside the camera and with 8K in-camera stage online and offline, and it's also very good at the virtual tour services. In this video, I'm going to share with you my workflow of the high imaging quality right behind the Labpano Pilot 1. I'm going to share with you how to make the most of this camera to deliver high quality virtual tour shot for your customers. My name is PTGui. I'm a 360 photography maniac, and on my YouTube channel you can learn a lot about 360 photography and master one-shot 360 camera like never before. So before we get started, I still want to talk a little bit more about Labpano Pilot 1 because this is a 4 lenses. You can see there's a 4 lenses all around, so it's quite different from the dual fisheye optical structure. With 4 lenses, so for each of the lens, the field of view might be smaller compared with the dual fisheye. Even the sensor is not very big. Actually, there are 4 1/1.3 inch sensors behind these 4 lenses. The effective sensor area is much larger compared with the dual fisheye optical structure. For the one-shot 360 camera like the C31, we have to crop a whole circle right inside the imaging plane so that we have wasted many areas of the image sensor. But for the 4 lens design, the effective sensor area is much bigger compared with the dual fisheye structure. Even with small sensors like 1/1.3 inches, we still could capture quite a lot of light with only one shot. The JPEG straight out from the camera is already good enough for professional virtual tour use case. So that is the reason why I want to share with you my high quality workflow to awake the full potential in behind the imaging quality after the Pilot 1. And the pros about the 4 lens design is actually the better image quality, more light to capture with one shot. But there are many cons behind this structure because 4 lenses we're gonna have to cope with 4 stitching lines, and the optical center offset you can see is bigger compared with the dual fisheye structure. Although the image quality is very good, the stitching is quite challenging. And compared with the Pilot era, the Labpano Pilot 1 is much smaller compared with the Pilot era. So theoretically speaking, the stitching for this camera is much better compared with the Pilot era. And with my workflow, not only you can get the very best imaging quality, but also at the same time get rid of all the stitching errors with almost only one click. Because I have worked with PTGui Pro developers, and now the PTGui Pro has natively supported the Pilot 1 stitching. And you're gonna learn a lot in this video, not only from the shooting, imaging post-processing, and also the high quality professional stitching with the PTGui Pro 12. So now let me show you my workflow step by step. Let me give you an overview of my high quality workflow. First, capture the shot with HDR mode, or you can take extra shot with a manual shot, and HDR merge and blend in Aurora HDR or Photomatics as you want, or you can choose Adobe Camera Raw. And after that, stitch the high quality photo right inside the PTGui Pro 12 and get rid of all the stitching errors with only one click. And after that, make some more nadir patch or zenith patch and deliver your service to your customers. And that is a brief overview of my workflow. Now you can see I'm in the front of the very beautiful scenery, and go to the camera in the shooting mode. There are the 3 options in the HDR. So for the very simple workflow, I will just choose this sunny, because you can see there's a very bright outside and it's very dark. It's for the interior shot. And for the Pro, the white balance, I will set to sunny, okay, daylight, and go back and take the HDR shot directly with the camera. So this is the method number 1. Now, this is very fast, and the result will be quite amazing. and it's a 3-shot JPEG bracket and the merge in real time inside the camera, and we will get the result very quickly. Here you can preview that image. I think the result will be pretty good. I think this is a quite amazing shot, but I'm still not very satisfied with that. So I will take another shot with some manual settings and I will show you in my lab demo. As you can see, I have changed my orientation a little bit. And I will set all the exposure with manual settings. As you can see, I have changed my camera to another position so that the pillars on the windows will just intersect with the sunlight. So I will get rid of the lens flare, right? The lens flare. I don't have to worry about the lens flare. And still maintain a very interesting interior shot. And change the orientation to make the stitching the easiest way. Okay. And here I'm going to manually HDR shot with that camera. For the low shutter speed, to bring back all the details at highlight. And you can also see we can bring back all the detail on the wall. Next one to this one to, and next shot, this shot. You can see now I have a 3 JPEG, right? This one for a brighter interior shot, and this one is even brighter, right? So this one was to capture the shadow areas, and yeah. Now we have 5 shots to bracket in post. Last one. Okay, so that is how I take the shot. Next, let me show you the workflow on desktop. We plug the Labpano to our computer and copy and paste all the JPEG file from the camera. You will get all these shots for our situation. As you can see, this is our manually shot JPEG with Labpano Pilot 1. For each one of the shots, we have 4 fisheye images together inside one shot. And for this shot, we can capture all of details in a highlight and all the way to the right until we get all the details in the dark, right? From the darkest point to the brightest point, we do have all of the details, amazing details with only JPEG. But the EXIF file for the Pilot 1 do have some issues. Just forget about all these files, all this metadata. It's not that accurate. So what I'm sure about that is the aperture value and ISO value. For the others, just do not trust the EXIF information. And now we're gonna HDR merge and blend all the files right inside your HDR. This is software I like it very much. And you can see upon this import, software will auto detect all the exposure values behind every one of frames from the EV-4 up to EV 2.5. Turn on the chromatic aberration reduction for the ghost reduction, although we can see some moving cloud in the sky, but I still want to maintain all the files right inside this photos. And I will bring back all the ghosted areas with substitution of the original frame. So create HDR, and it will take a while because the JPEG file is very huge because it's a 4 lenses design, and for each of the lens we have we have almost the full frame readout. So with altogether 4 JPEG files, and it will take some time to make the HDR blending. But with the JPEG only workflow, it should be also very fast. And here you can see the result is pretty awesome. It's despite some ghost in the sky, right? And you can zoom in the close look at every one of the detail. It's really good. It's really awesome. You can bring back to turn it before and after, right? You can see before and after. And for the highlight, you can also turn on the before and after comparison. So this is before, no detail in the highlight, it's after, right? And with some more color correction in your HDR, sometimes we should lower down the smart tone. Take a closer look at that, and add a little bit more HDR smart structure to make your image looks more sharp. Add a little bit more small structure to make your image looks more sharp. And that is all what I will do with this HDR merge result. Yeah, and after that, you're gonna get a 16-bit high quality tip file. But we do have some ghosts in the sky, so we're gonna make a substitution with these two files. Open these two files in Photoshop and substitute the clear cloud into that ghosted areas, right? So in Photoshop CC, we're gonna make a manually blend to deghost all these artifacts. Okay, and in the layer mask, we can see a little bit of that with some masking tools. It's pretty fast. You can see that. Yeah, it's gonna be really fast. Okay, so now we have select all the areas with ghost, and also this area, and this one, and this area. Now we're gonna show you the magic. We burn back all the ghosty area with some manually HDR blending. Yes, you can see this is very interesting, and we can even burn back more detail in the cloud. But yeah, but it's just too dark, so we're gonna burn back this curves colors as clipping mask, and we're gonna take it brighter to manually blend into that plane, right? So there's no deghosting, and to change the colors, to add some more of that, to make the color more vibrant and more balanced. Okay, so this is before ghosting, this is before and after, right? Before and after. Now this is much better with that. It's much better than before. And yeah, I'm gonna save these files as and copy and paste with the original tip file. And next up, I will stitch this file right inside the PTGui Pro 12, because the PTGui Pro 12 natively support the Labpano Pilot 1, and I have collaborated very deep with the PTGui Pro developers. And I will drag and drop these tip files in the PTGui Pro, and you can see that it will automatically detect that is the photo captured by the Labpano Pilot 1, and it will import 4 times and auto apply the best stitching parameters for us. And you don't have to care about all this shot, and you can see every setting is just auto, and it will give you a very good result. You don't have to change anything. Yeah, it's just everything is automatically done for you. And just click on align images, and boom, you got a very good result straight out from the camera with a single click. And you can go back to the control point to check if the control point is good or bad, and you can manually generate more control points in the overlapping areas to help the software to improve that stitching quality, right? You can see that the PTGui Pro 12 is actually a very good stitching software and help you stitch the images really well, right? Okay, we can manually add many more control points to help the software to optimize the stitching result. Because we have, you can see this is here you can see this is a very good feature from the PTGui Pro 12. It is a find optimum seams. So this software will auto select the best part of each of the frame and help you get rid of all the stitching errors with only one click. And that is a very interesting use case for the latest feature for the PTGui Pro 12. And the other very good feature about the PTGui Pro 12 is actually you can export as you can see this is a 9K image. We can export as a blended panorama as well as individual layers. It's just like the Kucam AK on stitch panel. So you can manually mask out all the stitching errors right after this stitching software. And the stitching algorithm and all the colors is very well management in the PTGui Pro 12. And just click on create panorama and it will stitch really fast and it will help you get a 9K image right after the PTGui Pro 12 while still maintain every one of the individual layers. And you can also export as some other format as a Photoshop document. It's gonna be even faster than JPEG export because this is a very huge document, so it will take you some time to open the post-process on your computer. Now I've opened the document in Adobe Photoshop. There are some stitching errors from the PTGui Pro 12 because the camera was shooting so close to the windows, and by only geometric analysis there might be some stitching errors, but you can see that I've been applied the warping tools and use a warping effect to get rid of all the stitching errors. And in this situation, although I was shooting really close to the windows, there are altogether 4 stitching errors in the final result, and I can easily get rid of all of them with very simple warping. I have corrected all the stitching errors with less than 2 minutes. And with the same trick, you can also get rid of that in your workflow and achieve stunning photo quality with no stitching errors.
You think you're the coolest. Who would ever wanna be like you? You left my heart in pain. Yeah. You don't have to admit it now. You want me to stay, but I can barely use it now. You left my heart in pain. You want me to stay, but I can barely use it now. You left my heart in pain.
Okay, now I think some of you might think that, oh, it is way too complicated, but I can guarantee that this high quality workflow will help you deliver a much higher imaging quality and much better service to your customers, and that will help your business grow much better. And yes, I do want to help those of you who want a very simplified workflow only with the camera. And Labpano Pilot 1 was designed to be a standalone camera. Now let me show you the all-in camera workflow and at the same time maintain a very good imaging quality with some more tips and tricks. Now let's get started. Okay, now let me show you the in-camera workflow of the high quality images from the Labpano Pilot 1. And after you can take several shots, in the gallery menu you can see lots of the photos have been taken with your camera. And in my live demo section, I have shot with the HDR mode, which you can see that this shot was HDR mode. You can see I have taken several shots, and yeah, this one is an HDR shot. You can see in this shot, the result is pretty awesome. And there are also some other shots as you can find here. This one is the in-camera HDR shot. As you can see, this one, yeah, this is the in-camera HDR shot, and you can turn to different view. And yeah, I have added a Labpano logo on the bottom, and you can add your customized logo. And if you want to achieve the very best stitching result, you can see the stitching is very good because we are so close to the windows, and because we can click on this button and convert algorithm. And if you are shot with a normal stitching result, and the Labpano, you can see this is the result with a normal stitch with a geometric analysis and stitch with only the length parameter. You can see some stitching errors on the lines, right? And if you want to get rid of all those artifacts, you can convert to the algorithm, and the camera will switch to optical flow stitch, which will deliver a much higher quality stitching result straight out from the camera. And that will help you get rid of almost all the stitching errors of this situation. You can see in the live preview, you can see it's already very, very good. And yeah, it's that simple. So the tips about in-camera shooting is that you need to shot in HDR mode, and after your shooting, you can switch to the optical flow stitching by press this button and convert algorithm. You can see that when you convert the stitching algorithm and go back to the gallery, you can see the icon. This is from the classical geometric stitch into the optical stitch. And it will take you some time to finish the optical stitch inside the camera. And now you can see it's now under stitching. And after a few seconds, you're gonna have a perfect stitch straight out from the camera. Okay, now you can see we have finished the optical flow stitch inside the camera. And now we can see an icon on the top right of this panorama. This stitching result is amazing. You don't see any stitching errors in this shot. And we are so close to this windows, and with full lens design, this result is really stunning. And this is everything was complete inside the camera, which is touchscreen. If you still want to color correct your panorama and add more color or add more sharpness or bring back more details, you can click on this one and adjust the photo directly in your camera. And it's just like an inbuilt camera raw for Pilot 1. And you can see it's very bright outside. You can lower the brightness, right? And correct the gamma curve and boost the shadows. You can put some more detail in the shadows and go to that. Highlight, we can bring more detail back in the highlight. And saturation, if you are not satisfied with the color, you can increase or decrease the saturation, right? And for temperature, the color temperature, you can make it more warm or make it more cold, right? Okay. And after that, after all this correction, you can toggle before and after. Before, after. Before, after. You can see now this image has a totally different mood compared with the original one, right? Click on OK and save as a new photo. And this Pilot 1 will auto process and save as a new photo, 8K Ultra HD photo inside the Pilot 1. And after that, click on share and share to the Google Drive. And that is all the in-camera workflow and some tips and tricks for you guys if you want to have a simplified all-in-one, all-in-camera workflow and still want to maintain a relatively higher imaging quality compared with a single shot. And this is all what you need about this camera. Okay, to wrap up, I think you have learned something about my high quality workflow. The key ideas is to make the most of the full lenses optic design because the effective sensor area is much bigger compared with the dual fisheye structure. And we can capture a high quality single shot with only one click. And with the help of the HDR shooting mode of the Pilot 1, not only we can have more data, more information to play with, but also we can get a much higher image quality with a much better dynamic range with appropriate post-processing tricks. And with the help of the PTGui Pro 12, stitching with full lenses is a piece of cake. And you can achieve very high stitching quality with the very advanced algorithm behind this professional stitching software. And yes, I know that so for some of you, you want to have a very fast and very stand-alone workflow. I have to admit that the in-camera workflow is already very good because we can have the optical flow stitch inside the camera, and we can also fine-tune the many parameters inside the camera. And that is also a very nice workflow, and that will deliver a very good imaging quality to your customers. But for the photographer like you, or if you are long been subscribed to my channel, you know that I always want to push the limit of my camera and achieve the best possible quality. And that is the reason why I share my high quality workflow, and I hope it's inspiring or it can help you get a much better photo and deliver much better service to your customers. And episode 3, I'm gonna dive very deep into the pilot tour feature of the Labpano Pilot 1 and share with you my thoughts and some tips and tricks about the pilot tour. Actually, it is a very interesting feature, and the video slam algorithm is just awesome. And you're gonna learn more about this camera in the next episode. So until next time, bye.
You're a rolling stone, but I'm a cannonball. You're not full